Today, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite topics. That's fear and guilt. Because when you think about it, the last few weeks we've talked about, like some great processes that you can do to raise your vibration, and that could, the 17-second affirmations, the power of I am. But if you've got some things that are, in the lower vibrations, some deep seated things going on in the lower vibrations, it does not matter what you do. Your vibration is going to rise up, and then you're going to feel yourself being pulled down. So today I want to tackle fear and guilt, and we'll talk a lot about that in upcoming videos. This is just going to, kind of scratch the surface. I'm going to give you a little exercise that you can use to start to really turn around your fears, to really look at them and uplift them, to get rid of them. That's what I'll be focusing on. But, we could have a 10-hour stream on fears. But I think that what I have today for you and what I'll send you off with, I think that you'll find that it's going to be really, really helpful. I was really excited to do this program today. So what I like to do at the beginning of each program is just to talk about law of attraction. I never know where you all are with your law of attraction understanding and process. So what I like to do is just do a very quick overview of what is the law of attraction. And essentially, it's one of the universal laws that like attracts like. And the process is really simple. It's whatever you're asking. So you have a desire. Say you want a new car, you want a new home, you want a new boo, whatever that is going to result in an ask. And you can pray about it, or it's just a thought that goes through your mind. There's an ask that takes place. And when you're asking, everything that you ask is absolutely not possible but probable. But your job is to align. Your job is to get on the right frequency, to get on the frequency of your desires. And as you align with your desires, then that's when the manifestation happens. And the manifestation that's the easy part. There's really nothing for you to do. You just get what you've been asking for. But what people don't understand is that once you manifest, then you'll feel great. And then there's something else that typically results in another ask. So I give the example, you get engaged. Ladies, you get the ring. Well, now you got to get to the altar. You got to get to I do. So what kind of wedding do you want? Do you want a large wedding? Do you want a small wedding? What happens after you get married? Life will give you so many experiences that you're always asking. You're always required to align with whatever you're asking. And then you manifest. It's a constant cycle that goes on and on and on. So what I focus on my show is the alignment piece. So the first part that I like to show everybody, what I have is the emotional guidance scale. And when you're feeling bad, you're at the lower end of the guidance scale. So you could be at the very bottom, where you're fearing something, you're depressed, you feel like you have no power, or you're angry, or you're disappointed, you're pessimistic, you're bored, you're worrying. These are all emotions that align with your lower self. And you'll hear a lot about your lower self versus your higher self. Your lower self, that's essentially when you're feeling, when those negative emotions have taken over and you're living predominantly in this negative space of feeling bad, then you will align with those things that are bad, that you don't want. That's when you're on your way to the path of unwanted experiences, unwanted people coming into your life. That's where, you start to experience, they say, they often say that illness is associated with the lower frequencies. And then you have your higher frequency emotions, which are attached to your higher self. And that's at the very top: joy, appreciation, freedom, love, passion, enthusiasm, happiness, optimism, hopefulness. And the more you feel those high frequency emotions, the more you will see your life will change, and you'll start to have experiences that align with those emotions. So as you feel better, you have better experiences. So that's really, that's really the power of what we're talking about, is understanding the power that you have with your emotions and being able to harness that power so that you manifest the life that you want. At this point, many of us have been living in a place of default. You don't really understand how powerful your emotions are. So you just kind of feel whatever you want to feel. Something bad is going on, then I'll just feel bad until something good happens. Something I really want is not here, then I'll feel bad until it comes. But you don't realize that your power as a person that can manifest your dreams, your experience, your power is actually in feeling good. And that's why I talk a lot about feeling good. The strategies that I talk about are all about feeling good. However, in taking a look, if you've been feeling bad for a while, and some people have been feeling bad for years and they just don't even realize it, because whatever it is that you've been feeling, you'll get used to it and it becomes your normal. And your norm could be living in a bad vibrational place that does not serve you. And you don't even know, because this is the vibration that you've had for years. Your body is used to this. You're used to dealing with these emotions and you don't know any better, but then you don't understand why things around you aren't changing. So the goal of this channel, the goal of everything that I talk about, is to get you out of the feeling bad place, out of the lower level of the emotional guidance scale, and then to get you over here to the feeling good place so that you do you have a better existence, you feel more peace and harmony, you manifest cool things. And even when you're not so per se manifesting the big things that we all want, you're still living a great existence. Because if you think about it, there are only so many big things that we can manifest. There's only so many, there are only so many big cars that we can manifest, only so many homes that will manifest, only so many vacations that you manifest. On any given day, you want to have peace. You want to feel satisfied. You want to feel enthusiastic and in love with whatever is taking place, whether it's a simple walk that you take with your grandchild, whether it's a simple walk that you choose to, just take in your neighborhood. You want to feel good when you have those moments. It's not just about, I've manifested this big thing that I've been wanting, this lottery ticket, this job, or what have you, because most of your life will not be those bigger things. So it's learning how to feel good during the journey, enjoying the journey and feeling good in the midst or between the manifestations, between the big things happening. And that's what I'm really, that's what I really focus on. So in talking about fear, I'm actually reading an amazing book that I want to recommend to everyone. It's called Letting Go. Not sure if anybody has heard of this book. If you have, please do put it in the chat. I want to hear if you've heard of it, if you started reading it, what are your thoughts? But I can tell you that this is one of the most thought-provoking books that I have read. And one of the things that it says, and I'm going to read it because I want to make sure that I read it verbatim. It says, fear is the greatest danger that the human body faces. Fear and guilt bring about disease and failure in every aspect of life. Guilt is a form of self-torture, and disease, unlikely, is to exist without it. That right there is so deep. When you think about how those emotions of fear and guilt can eat away at you and literally make you sick. And when you're hanging out in those lower vibrational spaces, you see fear is at the very bottom. And you see the guilt, the worry, you see it is right above. Those things come together. And as you start to live in that place, and I'm going to talk about how do you know if you're living in that place? Many of us are. When you live in that place of fear and guilt, your manifesting power is severely limited, and you will be so frustrated and you won't even know why. And it's because you are in these low vibrational places. So, and here's the thing, most of us are conditioned out of fear. Think about, as children, our parents, do this or you will be punished. Teachers, do this or you will get a bad grade and I won't be happy with you, and your parents won't be happy with you either. From a health standpoint, we talk about cancer prevention. We talk about diabetes prevention. Eat this so that you won't get cancer. Exercise so that you won't get heart disease. There are so many things that are focused on what you don't want, that it's always attached to this. I've got this fear of getting this thing, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to eat these vegetables because I don't want to get this disease. I'm going to eat this way because I don't want to get overweight. We tend to, we're taught, okay, here, if you do this, here's the consequence. And then we end up fearing that consequence. And the consequence is what we're focusing on. It's so natural if you think about it, like we've been conditioned to this, and it's through adulthood. If you think about it with our employers, I don't want to be late because if I'm late, then I'll get written up. I got to make sure that I perform well, because if I don't perform well, if I don't make the decisions that my employer believes that I should be making, and I don't perform how my employer thinks that I should be performing, then I'll get a bad performance review. And I don't want a bad performance review. So even in adulthood, we've been trained to focus on the consequence and to fear the consequence. So do something out of the fear of what the consequence would be. And then even as we get older, it's let me make sure I do this so that this doesn't happen. And it's so easy. It's so easy. But what you don't realize is that you are in a place of fear when you do this. And then you take it a step further, is guilt, which is the worst. Oh my God. I mean, you look at the guidance scale right there. Fear is terrible and guilt is right above. Fear is number 22 at the bottom. Guilt is number 21, right at the bottom. Those are the worst emotions that you can allow to take root in yourself and just kind of continue to fester. So when you think about fear, it's a form. I'm sorry. When you think about guilt, it's a form of fear. So if I do this thing, then I know I shouldn't have done it. So now I feel guilty. And there's so many opportunities to feel guilty. I ate this. I know I shouldn't have eaten this. I had these chips. I shouldn't have had these chips. So now I feel guilty. I was late. And I know I shouldn't have been late. Now my employer is upset with me, and I shouldn't have, that wasn't good. Now I feel guilty. What's another one? It's just, I should have done this. Now I feel guilty. Well, you don't realize, and here's the thing with guilt. Sometimes it is the biggest form of self punishment, because oftentimes with guilt, we don't even need someone to point it out. With the whole eating thing, no one is pointing it out to us that we shouldn't have eaten it. We are actually pointing it out to ourselves that we shouldn't have done this, or pointing it out to ourselves that we should have been on time. And no one has said anything, but we're beating up ourselves over this. It's self-talk. It's what's going on in your head. And that is actually, that's your vibration, and that's your manifestation power. So we've been conditioned from very young to fear and to have guilt when we have done something that we feel like we should have done. And those are two very low vibrations that keep you in a place of manifesting more things that make you feel fearful and more things that make you feel guilty. So with this book, Letting Go is a big piece. Obviously, that's the name of it, but it's letting go of a lot of emotions. But what I'm focusing on is letting go of the fear and the guilt. And really, what it comes down to is choosing to align with love. So it's choosing to see things from a loving and appreciation standpoint than fear. And I'll give you some examples because I know that sounds like really fuzzy wuzzy, like really, so what does that mean? So, for example, it's saying instead of I'm eating these things so that I do not get a disease, so that I don't get diabetes. Diabetes runs in my family. So I'm going to make sure I eat like this because I don't want diabetes. Instead of that, it's I love my body. I appreciate and value my body. This is the body that has been given to me. And I want to eat food that nourishes my body. You'll see that it's very subtle. It's, okay, doesn't that get me into the same spot? And either whether I'm choosing not to eat because I don't want to get this disease, or I'm choosing to eat something because I, want to be healthy, I want to value my body, it gets me to the same spot. Here's the thing. You can absolutely manifest through fear and anger, but what happens is the spillover effect, what I call it, is if you are choosing fear and guilt in the way that you operate during your day, you will find other things to fear and to be guilty about. You are in such a low vibrational place and aligning with your lower self that you will continue to manifest those things that are in alignment with your lower self. So does that, and then here's the thing with fear, anything that you focus on absolutely has the opportunity, even more of an opportunity to come into your life, because whatever you focus on grows. So when you focus on fear, when you focus on those things that don't want to happen, those are the very things that come into your life. And you're like, but I did all the right things and it still happened. But even if it doesn't, because you are in that frequency, you will manifest things that are in alignment with that very same energy, whatever it is you're fearing. So maybe you prevented cancer, but you got some other stuff going on. Maybe you prevented this, but you got some other stuff that is in the same frequency that is going on. So it's all about letting go of the fear, letting go of the guilt, so that you can start to focus in the area of love. You start to focus with your higher self, and your higher self is where everything is at, where what you want. That's where the relationship is. That's where the health, the great health. That's where the great experiences. That's where all of those great experiences, those dreams, the everything that you think of as exciting, that you would love to see happen in your life. That's in alignment with your higher self. That's in alignment with feeling good, this chart that I have. But when you are hanging out at the bottom with the fear, the guilt, you're manifesting those things. So it's just all about having that energy. It's, for example, and I was thinking about this because obviously I'm on Twitch. So you could say, even from as myself as now a Twitch streamer, and this is anybody that's on Twitch, I could choose to come to this space of Twitch saying, gosh, I'm going to do this because I really want numbers. I want high numbers. I want to be an affiliate. I'd like to be a partner. I'd like to just be whatever it is that Twitch can, offer me. That's what I want on Twitch. Well, you could do that, which is essentially focusing on what you don't have. So basically everything that I'm doing now is focused on getting a certain number because I fear not having that number. I fear people not coming. Or you can say, you know what? I love what I do. And this is really for me. I'm loving what I'm doing and I want to put out the content that I love. And I'm excited for whomever is here that can gain something from this content. And whomever is here, I totally love and appreciate the process. I love and appreciate what I'm doing, and I feel great about it. And absolutely, it would be amazing to see, it would be amazing to reach as many people as possible. But at the end of the day, I'm focusing on love and appreciation. I'm not focusing on, I've got to have a certain number of people watching. I've got to get to a certain number within Twitch or even within YouTube. I've got to stream this long and have these many commercials or what have you. No, I'm focused on love and appreciation. I'm absolutely loving what I'm doing. This is the most amazing thing that I've ever done, like ever, because I get to talk about something that I talk about all the time anyway. And I'm actually, and I put these things, everything that I'm talking to you about, I actually put into, I put this into work in my own life, so I'm like, wow, as I'm reading this book is not only making me better, but now I have the opportunity to share it with other people and that can make them better. I can't think of anything else that I'd rather do. Like, I love it. So the numbers are like, whatever. Obviously, I'd love to see high numbers because I think it's so amazing that I'd love to see even more people taking in this information and changing their lives as well. But that's not my focus. My focus is I love what I'm doing. I love what this has done for other people. I have people reaching out to me. I have people reaching out to Vince, telling them how much they love the information that I'm sharing. And that is amazing. And actually, while I'm thinking about it, big shout out to Maddie O. Maddie let us know that she actually purchased a book, that this has been a great journey for her. And she purchased a book. I can't remember the book, but she purchased the book to, really kind of keep this positivity and this mindset going. So that feels great. That is so much that is so fulfilling. It's like whatever about the other stuff. So I'm focused on love and appreciation through this process where I could easily focus on what do I need to do to get these numbers up? What do I need to do to get to the next level? What do I need to do? And when you do that, you're focusing on the fear piece. I fear having a lower stream. I fear not reaching the level that I'd like to reach. So I've got to do this instead of, gosh, this feels amazing. I've come across this amazing information, this amazing content, and this has helped me so much, and I can't wait to share. Those are two different places of energy, and your energy is everything, and your energy determines what happens next and how you manifest. So when I think about how do I want to manifest, I want to manifest from a place of feeling great, of feeling gratitude for everyone that is here, for feeling gratitude for the book coming to me, feeling gratitude for, popping YouTube open and this amazing video comes that leads me to that book. Because with that energy is what brings more things that I will love, that I will be grateful for. And I've seen this play out so much in my life. Now, I'm not perfect. So have I had fears? Absolutely. And that's one thing that I just continue to work on. And reading this book, actually, as I started to read, I'm like, oh, wow, this is game changing here. So as I'm having this game changing experience, I'm excited to, just share it with you so that you can have your own aha moment and start to really, ask yourself, when I'm thinking about the different aspects of life, am I focused in the area of love and appreciation? Or am I focused in the place of fear and guilt? And the place of fear and guilt, a lot of times we don't want to admit that we're in that place because there's such ugly words. Nobody likes fear. Nobody likes guilt. But it could just be something as simple as I'm doing this. One of the examples, I'm driving safely because I don't want to have an accident. That's fear. I'm driving slow because I don't want to have an accident. Instead of I'm driving carefully because I love myself and I want to keep, I love myself. I have a high regard for myself. So I'm driving carefully for myself and also for the people around me, for the people in my life. That is a totally different energy. How many times have you left, even in inclement weather? How many times have you left thinking, let me drive carefully so that I don't have an accident? That's fear. So it's starting to question yourself in different aspects of your life. Am I approaching this through a lens of love or fear? And you can absolutely change that. So let's see. Let me make sure that I'm not missing anything. Okay, so I'll tell a story and then I'll get into an exercise. And then if anyone has questions, definitely send them. I should have said this earlier. Send them to Vince. You can whisper Vince Adams. You can whisper him, or you can just put it in the comment section because he's reading the comment section. Read this and we'll get your questions answered. I'll reserve that to the end. Well, I'll give you an example. So, like I said I think I mentioned this in one of my previous episodes. I'm pretty sure I did. So Vince and I met through a network marketing company. Some of you may know of Visalis, the 90-day challenge. And we met, so funny, in my good friend's kitchen. And they made a lovely shake for me, 2 dudes. So the shake wasn't that great, but I could tell that it had some potential. But most importantly, I saw that he was making money. And at that point, I had just left my job and I needed to make some income. And I learned that he had earned a BMW through the company and he was making money. And there were other people in the company that were, they were making good money as well. So I thought to myself, you know what? I think I can sell some shakes. I think I can sell some shakes for sure. And they had other products, but at the crux of everything was the shake. So I joined and I was able to lose, I think I lost like 18 pounds. So I got some pictures floating out there that I think are pretty impressive. I need to get back to my challenge, my challenge body. So, lost the weight. Vince was an incredible mentor. He achieved great things with the company. We had a great team. And during that time of promoting the 90-day challenge, when I think about that experience, as a mentor, he gave me, along with everyone else on the team, like anybody that promoted the challenge with us, they have nothing but amazing things to say about Vince. Because when I tell you, and you can anybody on Twitch, DJs, they know that he is a servant-driven leader. He is all about, he is going to go somewhere. If he's going to go somewhere, he's taking some folks with him. That's just how he is. So, a few years ago, it was the shakes. It was a 90-day challenge. And now with Twitch, he's been an incredible leader on Twitch. But during that time, there were several of us who had, we aspired to do great things. He was doing great things with the company. He's got some pretty impressive pictures out there as well. So, looking good, driving a BMW, making good money. And he's got several people under him who were, making good money as well, driving BMWs and aspiring to move up the ranks within the company just like him. So he poured so much into all of us. every single one of us poured so much until, and just feeding us with mindset tools and telling us you need to do A, B, C. If you do A, B, C, you can attract more customers and you can attract more promoters who in turn will grow your business. So no shortage of conversations there. But when I look back, and I can tell you that I did well, but not as well as I really wanted to do. There were several things that I wanted to experience with the company financially that I never was able to. And I know for a fact that it was mindset. When I look back, I was building that business based on fear as opposed to love. I was doing things. He would give us these great ideas. And when I would focus on those, when I would do those things, it was for the intent. The intent behind it is, how many people can I get to join the challenge? Because I want to make my rank. And not only make my rank, I want to move up, go to the next rank. And then I want to go up to the next rank. So everything that I was doing was to go to the next rank, which really is a fear of staying and not achieving your rank. Everything was about who can I get to join this so that, one, they experience this with me and we can, we build this business. I look back and I'm like, wow, was I looking at this from a love and appreciation standpoint? Was I loving what the product was doing for me? I mean, like I said, I've got some great pictures out there. Like, I'm very proud of what I was able to do on the 90-day challenge, but I didn't really focus on that. I didn't focus a lot about, gosh, I'm so grateful for this product that has me looking great, has me feeling great. Oh my God, I'm not thinking about that. I'm not thinking about like, oh wow, whomever joins this challenge with me, they are going to see some amazing things happen in their life, because not only am I driving a BMW, I upgraded from a Camry to a BMW. Not only am I doing that, and I was unemployed, so I'm like, I've upgraded to a luxury car and I'm looking great. But I wasn't focused on that. I was focused on, what do I need to do to get to the next rank? What do I need to do to get the next rank? I need these many customers that will spend this much money. I need these many promoters that will be active, and then that will get me there. That's where my focus was, instead of really enjoying the journey, enjoying and loving what was taking place. And there were amazing things taking place at that time. And I look back on the pictures and I'm like, wow, like it was amazing, but I wasn't focused there. I was not thinking at all about the amazing things. I was focused on reaching a certain number. And if I didn't get that number, I was not happy with myself. I wasn't happy with the process. And then, okay, what do I need to do next month? Instead of, wow, you look amazing. My mom was on the challenge. She looked amazing. People would joke around like all you have in your house are shakes. Well, that's because the shakes work. It was great. We had a very attractive team because we were all taking care of ourselves, but that wasn't the focus. So I look back at that and I'm like, well, that's a lesson learned. But you know what? Even though that time, obviously, I didn't get myself together, my mindset together to focus on love and appreciation, and just really focused in the area of the fear-based, if I don't get this, then this. Didn't know, but I was building a relationship with my now husband. Never thought that my mentor would become my husband. And I was just having the conversation with him the other day, like, well, you know what? I told him, I said, I definitively know that if I was in a different mindset, all of those techniques that you gave me and other people, but all those techniques you gave me to build my business, I think I know that we'd have a different story. I'd have a different story for what I was able to do with that company. It is what it is. No regrets or anything like that. But I definitively know, because I'm a believer in energy. But what's fascinating is, even in that place of not accomplishing what it was that I wanted at the time, I created an amazing friendship with someone who will become my husband. So that, that time of the challenge, it still was it still was time well spent, even though I didn't get to where I wanted to be. What came out of it was simply amazing, and something that was not at all on my radar, never would have thought. So whatever experience you're going through, enjoy the journey. Think about, how is it that I can operate from a place of love to just really enjoy this process, even if it's not giving me what I want on the surface. I may not be getting what I think I want from that experience, but if you focus on just enjoying the journey, you'll be surprised how you can not only change that experience and you'll start to get different results, but you'll be surprised what else can come out of it. So through that journey, like I said, there were some seeds planted that created an amazing relationship. So it's all good. I look back at that and I'm like, I could have had a better mindset, and that could have gotten me a little bit different. It could have definitely gotten me some different results, but nothing that you're experiencing, there's a silver lining to it all, and nothing that you experience is without value. So that's the big piece on, love, appreciation, choosing love and appreciation over fear, but then also knowing that there's something great that can come out of everything, and you just never know what it will. Because certainly didn't expect that a love connection with my mentor would come out of that. So the piece that I want to leave you with, and I like to, have an exercise, because it's just like I'm giving all this information. So it's like, how do I use this information? And in terms of, kind of how do you get out of the fear-based thinking? Because like I said, I think most of us in some part of our life, there's a fear piece, and it could be small, but how do you get out of it? And the best way is just really confronting it, looking at it head on, not avoiding it. So the exercise that I have for you is really thinking about the different buckets of your life. Career, love, relationships, health, and start to ask yourself, what kind of decisions are you making? And what's at the root of those decisions? Why are you eating the things that you're eating? Why are you doing certain things at your job? Why are you on time? Why are you performing certain ways? Are you performing in a way? Are you performing certain ways because it feels good to serve the people that you work with? It feels good to serve your clients. It feels good to perform well and to provide a product that ultimately will do well within your company, that you can make a positive contribution to your company. Are you doing it because of that, or are you doing it because you want a good review, and because a bad review sucks? Start to think about, what is the motivation behind the things that I'm doing? Am I having fun? And am I doing these things out of love and appreciation, or am I doing them because I fear a certain consequence? When I leave the house, am I driving a certain way because I fear having an accident? Or is it from I love myself, I appreciate myself, and I want to take care of myself? How am I choosing? Am I protecting myself through love, or am I protecting myself through fear? And every day you have a decision to focus and to choose love or to choose fear in the way that you're doing things. And it's where's the motivation coming from? But it's something that you can change, but you got to look at it head on. So start to look at those different areas of your life and be honest, because there's no value in, like you can say whatever you want to say, but you can't outsmart the universe. The universe knows that you're fearful. So you can tell me that, I'm choosing love and appreciation, but you can tell me that all day, or you can tell yourself that all day. But if you're not really being honest with yourself, that, what, maybe there's a part of my life where I'm choosing fear, that I'm choosing guilt. If you're not honest with yourself, then you won't get the results that you're looking for. So be honest with this, be honest with the process, and look at the different buckets of your life and ask yourself, what's the underlying motivation? And I love affirmations. I'm a believer in writing everything. You can write down. Here's my motivation, and now I'm going to change this with an affirmation that you will say daily. So here's actually an exercise that I have for you. And here's instead of this, try this. So instead of, I avoid bad foods to prevent diabetes, and maybe in your family, there's certain illnesses that run in your family. So because of that, you eat certain foods in order to avoid this thing. But instead of trying to avoid this thing, instead, I love and value my body, so I eat healthy foods to nourish it. Write that down. So now that, write down, okay, what is it I really believe? What's my motivation here? Okay. Let's be real. I avoid bad foods so that I can prevent something. Or I'm eating these green shakes because I'm eating these green smoothies because this runs in my family and I don't want this to happen. Well, instead of focusing on that, you know what? I love my body. I value my body. So, and I know that the right foods are good for my body, will nourish my body. So you know what? Because I've been blessed with this body, I'm going to treat this body well. I'm going to be thankful, and this is what I'm going to give it. Instead of I'm raising my vibration to avoid a bad experience, because let's face it, most people come to the law of attraction because they want to manifest something. They don't like the current experience of being single. You don't like the current experience of walking or being on the bus. You want to manifest a car. You don't like the experience of having a certain car that, that's breaking down. You want a better car. You don't like the experience of living in this neighborhood or living in this place. You want to manifest a better neighborhood. You don't like the experience of not having money. You want to have money. There's, we're avoiding some experience, but in avoiding that experience and doing something to avoid an experience, you are activating fear. So instead of activating fear, saying I'm raising my vibration so that I can manifest these things, which means if I'm manifesting this, then I'm saying F you to that. But instead of that, I'm raising my vibration to align with my natural frequency of love, because your natural frequency is to be in a loving state. Okay. I'm doing this because I want to align with my higher self, which is my natural frequency. So it's not about I'm doing this to avoid this experience. I'm doing this so that I can attract this person, because if I don't attract this person, then I fear not attracting this person. So I'm going to do these things so that I can attract them. Well, you're not saying, like, okay, well, let me watch High Power Love, so that I can attract this person because I fear not getting them. Nobody's going to say that. But if you are so focused on getting something, whether it's a person, to be with a particular person, it's to get a car, whatever it is, if you are so focused on raising your vibration because you want that, at the core of it is, I fear not getting it. That's fear. So instead of I'm focused on raising my vibration so that I can get this thing, which essentially means that I fear not having it, I'm raising my vibration because I want to connect with my natural state, my natural frequency, which is that of love. If I do this, my boss will be happy. So essentially, I'm doing this because I fear my boss not being happy, because if my boss isn't happy, that means I get written up. That means that this happens and this happens. So I'm going to do this because they want it. Instead of I'm doing this because I care about the work and the people I serve. You see, it's small. If I don't do this for my mate, someone else will. I know you've heard that before. Well, if you don't do it, somebody else will. That's terrible. That is fear. So you're telling me that I have to do something. If I don't do something, then you'll leave me? No, that is fear. I do this for my mate out of appreciation and love for him or her. So start to think about the different areas of your life and how you can focus on love. And perfect way is get a pen, get a journal. I love my journal. Get a journal, piece of paper, and write down the different buckets of your area, the things that you're doing, and what's the motivation behind them. And then ask yourself, is this through love and appreciation, or is this fear? And that's what it looks like. So I see that I've got some questions, and I'll just say this. Once you write these new affirmations, this is just the beginning of the work, because everything now is about reprogramming. If you've programmed yourself unconsciously, because a lot of what's going on, it's unconscious programming. You don't even realize it's happening. If you have programmed yourself unconsciously, this is the first step in starting to reprogram your mind to focus in a better direction that essentially will have you manifesting or being aligning with your higher self, which means that you will have different manifestations going on than what you have now. So after you do this, after you've, kind of, here are my buckets. I've got career, I've got love, I've got relationships. And when I say relationships, I mean friends, family. When you think about, health, all those things, start to think about, okay, what are the things that I'm doing? What's the motivation behind it? Write that down. And then after you write it down, then you want to create positive affirmations from that, just as I've done. I avoid bad foods to prevent diabetes. Okay, I'm going to flip this around to love. I love and value my body, so I eat healthy foods to nourish. Once you do that, then at that point, the work is saying it. Because the more a belief is nothing but the belief is just a belief is something that you've told yourself over and over again to the point where now it's a belief. A belief is just a statement that somebody has said to you, or you've said it to yourself enough to the point where you believe it, and then you start to manifest based on those beliefs. So what you're doing, you're creating new beliefs in the area of love and appreciation in these different buckets of your life. Okay, so write it down. Write down the icky stuff. Nobody has to see it but you. Write down the icky stuff and then flip it. How do I change my motivation around this to focus on love and appreciation? And once you have your affirmations, then that's what you say morning and night. I know you all are like, really? Something else to do? But here's the thing. When you are going on a journey of just really changing things in your life, and you know that, you know what, I'm looking at the things in my life, and because we manifest everything in our life, I know that I want a different reality, and I know I create my own reality. If you've been creating your reality from a place of fear, disappointment, you've got some work to do. It's like going to the gym. Okay. If you are overweight and you haven't been in the gym in, a year or two, you got a lot of work to do. Period. Like you're going to have to spend some time in the gym, and you're going to have some pain associated because you're working some muscles that have not been worked. You're spending time, on your body that you have not spent on your body. It's work. And this is no different. This is like putting time in the gym. This is like saying, okay, I've got 50 pounds to lose. When you decide you've got 50 pounds to lose, you know that, you know what, I got to get in the gym, or I got to do some things differently than what I've been doing. And there's work involved. So this is the work. So I know that, every episode I'm like, here's another exercise, but I can tell you the more and more you do this stuff, it's going to come so naturally and come so quickly that you'll find yourself spending less time. You'll find yourself like, oh, wow, I woke up and 15 minutes later, I did my exercises and I feel great. Where it may take you, when you're actually, think about when you're in the gym, when you're kind of in that building phase, like, and you're trimming down, you're losing the weight, you're building muscle. It's very different than the maintenance process. So if you are in the building phase, there is work to do, but I can tell you that once you get to the maintenance phase, it is so worth it. You will see so many changes that you'll be happy that you took the time to really examine the things in your mind. So right now, just imagine the 50-pound, negative weight in your mind, that you have allowed to be in your mind, and you've got some work to do, to chisel down and to get yourself moving in the right direction. So take some time, do this, say these affirmations morning and night, and you'll find that even the deep-seated fears, because like I said earlier, we're taught fear from like 3. We are taught these things so early, and then we just kind of keep it going and going and going, that once you start to tap into the fears, you start to address the fears in your everyday environment, that, you become more conscious of your motivations and how you're choosing to make decisions, what you're choosing to do, then that actually will start to affect you'll start to be, as you lighten your load, you will be able to kind of pull up some of those deep-seated fears of the past. It's amazing how that, as you kind of peel the layers, the enlightenment that you'll feel, but you just start here. Like, this is a wonderful place to start, because it's like I said earlier, if you look at this emotional guidance scale, and I'm telling you, do your 17 seconds. Make sure you feel good. Think about a good thought and feel good, and keep it going and keep it going, and then and something great will happen. Well, here's the thing. If you have not taught yourself how to operate in a place of love and appreciation, and you continue to focus on the fear and the guilt, you can do you can do the 17 seconds and the I ams and what have you. And then an hour later, when it's time for you to leave the house, you're focused on not having an accident. You're focused on this not happening. You're focused on getting to where you need to get to, because you don't want to hear the person bitch about you not getting here at a certain time. So you've got to clean out the negative clutter. You got to address the uglies, because when you address and you kind of pull out the ugly stuff, then the 17-second is so much better. The I am affirmations, they stick, and they're so much better. So it's all about going within, going deep, because you don't want to get trapped. If you've got the fear, if you've got the guilt, you're going to constantly have something pulling at you. As much as you try and move to these higher levels, you focus so much on, passion, and you focus so much on, oh, I believe this is going to happen and I feel great and this is going to happen. When you're operating from a place of fear, unconscious, because this stuff is happening unconscious because it's been programmed in you from so long ago. When you are operating from that place for so long, even when you get up there with those high feelings, you are pulled right back down. So that's why I wanted to take some time today to really address the lower frequencies and what's happening at an unconscious level with the lower frequencies, so that you can start to address it, so you can fly high and stay there. So I've got some questions. Let's see. Oh, okay. There were two. Okay. All right. Okay. What if you think your mate doesn't appreciate the love you're giving? So I think it was Thursday. I put out a post, what you think of me is none of my business. And that's what it comes down to. You have to, this is your journey. Okay. And it's not about what someone else thinks, whether it's your mate, whether it's a friend or whatever. If your mate, what if you think your mate doesn't, what if you think your mate doesn't appreciate, then they just don't, it doesn't even matter what they think. All that matter is how you think. We spend so much time focused on what other people are thinking about what we're doing, instead of focusing on yourself. So that goes back to the self-love, the confidence, focusing on confidence of yourself, okay, and what you're doing. And if they don't appreciate it, what if you think your mate doesn't appreciate your giving? If they don't appreciate it, then they just don't. That's them. We place so much value on what other people think instead of what we think. So how is it that you feel about what you're giving to them? And if you feel good about what you're giving, and this doesn't mean, here's the thing, certainly that doesn't mean that you don't ask for feedback. There's nothing wrong with asking for feedback, but the most important relationship that you have is with you. And the most important thing of what you think is what comes from here. So that appreciation piece, if they don't appreciate it, then that's on them. Just continue to focus on the love of yourself. Continue to appreciate yourself. And here's the thing. The more you love and appreciate yourself, you will start to see people appreciate you more. Law of attraction is so powerful. It is like attracts like. And the more love that I have for myself, the more love I receive. The more appreciation I have for myself, the more I see that appreciation come back to me. So a lot of times when we see things in other people, it really is a reflection of what we've got going on in here. So focus more on loving and appreciating yourself, and focus on your I am, statements. I am giving. I am, I am wonderful. I am an amazing mate. I am, think about all these things. Think of who are you, and even what are the things that you don't currently feel you are, but aspire to be? You're already that. But think about, what are the things? I'm a great problem solver. I'm intelligent. There's so many things that you can say that you are. And the more that you start to believe that you are, you'll be amazed by the people in your life, how they change their thoughts and their actions towards you, or that they leave and somebody else that appreciates you comes. That happens too. So let's see. Okay. Can you share a little about a good approach to dealing with triggers while using these techniques being taught? Triggers like trauma, post-depression as an example. So, you know what? I will say in terms of triggers, like meditation, I think meditation is really good. Like one thing that you'll find, and I'm actually going to talk about meditation as well. Meditation, when you stop thought completely, you allow yourself to vibe really high. And that actually can help, like for someone that is experiencing like great triggers, meditation can be really good. A good friend of mine is doing a theta healing class that really focuses on getting at the core of trauma. So for anyone that's experiencing trauma, there are different things that you can do to really kind of get at those serious triggers of trauma. The theta healing, the meditation is very good, and tapping can also be very good. So there are a lot of strategies out there that will help you with the triggers as you start to, kind of peel the layers. Okay. Have you used this approach to parenting? If so, do you have an example? What I have focused on with parenting, and I don't know if she might be around here. What I have focused on with parenting, so I have a teenage girl. Yeah. So, that mother-daughter dynamic can be very, very interesting. I really focus on love and appreciation with her as well. We just... it's Vince says it's like the estrogen. He is so funny in here. But what I really try to do for my daughter is really instill in her. I try to give her the case for being in a good vibrational place, and I really, I will say that I really try not to focus on fear. So there are certain things that, if she wants to leave the house, she's leaving the house, she's going here. I could certainly think about, all of the things that are going on outside. But instead, I choose not to focus on her. I choose not to focus on that fear, and instead focus on, okay, you know what? Have a good time, be safe, but for me, in my parenting, really the focus is having my vibration in order. And I have noticed that when I have my vibration in order and I'm feeling good, I'm amazed at how that really does affect her energy as well. It's amazing. You will see how as you focus on having the right energy or just really kind of being in that good high place, the people around you, it will match. It will absolutely match. So I like to think of myself as really kind of like a walking, kind of billboard. There's no one here that's perfect. So I certainly have my days like anyone else, but my daughter knows that I'm very, very passionate about the law of attraction, about energy, about having the right mindset. And that's something that, definitely does, trickle over. Now, one thing for people that have younger children, you have a great opportunity to really shape some things that I wish that I had a chance to shape, because I came into understanding the power of vibration and thought and everything. I'd say about 2015 is when I really, start studying it. Well, at that point, my daughter was 13. So I had instilled quite a bit of fear and don't do this because of this. So now, when I'm, kind of flipping it, she's like, that's not what you said. So she's very good, as teenagers are, saying, I get you're saying all this positive stuff, but years ago, I remember you saying this. Thanks. Well, now I'm enlightened. And now that I'm enlightened and I know better, I'm trying to enlighten you. So it's a little bit challenging with, when you have an older teenager. I have an 18-year-old. So right now, for me, it's all about being a model citizen where, if I had a younger person, I would, a younger, child, it would be really about kind of shaping those thoughts early on. Because once they get to the teenage years, they're just they're in their own space. And, it's just like, okay, I'm just going to be the best citizen I can. And then you'll remember this. I'm looking for a good affirmation book for women of color. Any suggestion? And then also Maddie O's book was Dr. Rebecca Gray. So are you saying that was?
I was reminding you.
Okay, great. Okay. I didn't know if it was, okay. So you know what? I don't know the answer to that, but let me look. Good affirmation book for women of color. I don't have any suggestions at this point, but I'll definitely take a look to see what I can find. Yeah, I'm not offhand, but there's so many books out there. I mean, you could, I'm a lover of Google, so certainly, you can do a Google search. But I'll ask around. I mean, I'm married to a bookworm, so he may know of a good affirmation book for women of color, but I can't think of any offhand. But let me think about that, and I will definitely let you know, because I've read some amazing books, but I haven't read any around any affirmation books. And then Maddie O, I said earlier, she got a book that she thought was great, and that's Be Happy by Dr. Rebecca Gray. So the last thing, did we get any more questions? Okay. All right. So the last thing that I want to do is the manifestation superstars. This is like my favorite part of the day. And let's see. All right. So let's congratulate manifestation superstar Shy Tiggy. I'm not sure if she's in the chat, but Shy. Okay, she's driving. Okay, so Shy Tiggy sent me this testimonial, and I thought it was amazing, and I got her permission to share. She said, "I really enjoyed your show. I'm not really a vision board affirmation type of person. However, I started last night employing some of your techniques. I thought to myself, why not try something new? I checked email, and why am I meeting with the CEO Friday for a job, and I'm in the process of interviewing for? Then got an unsolicited credit increase on a credit card, and then went to a food truck by my house to get a falafel gyro, and the truck dude also gave me a free fish dinner." So she is just like manifestation after manifestation. I love to hear that. You'd be so surprised there's so much power in feeling good. Like I never knew that there's so many goodies that come along with this. So thank you, Shy Tiggy, for reaching out to me to let me know that, you know, this stuff is working. And that's one thing. Once you put this to work, you realize that it does work. And then as you go deeper and you pull out the stuff that, you know, really, you know, the different beliefs and the mindset that isn't really serving you, you'd be amazed by the things that happen and the things that come into your life. So for those of you who have any manifestations, please do reach out to me. You can inbox me right here on Twitch. You can inbox me on Facebook. You can inbox me on Instagram, or you can send me an email you can submit your questions or your manifestation stories to Kalila at highpoweredlove.com. So many ways that we can connect. And I definitely encourage you, please reach out to me. This is, you know, I love this. I love what I'm doing. I love this work. I love what it has done for my life and the people around me. And I love to hear that it's doing amazing things for you as well. So reach out to me. Let me know what you're doing. Let me know what your experiences are, because the more we can, you know, put these stories out here, the more people start to believe and make different changes for themselves. And it's just all about putting, you know, positive energy out there. So please do. And of course, feel free to visit my blog, highpoweredlove.com. I offer individual coaching, and then I have what's called my daily sprinkle of love that is posted to my High Powered Love website. You can also follow me on Facebook or Instagram, even Twitter, to see my daily sprinkle there as well. My contribution to the social media world is positivity. So I am always, you know, putting out something positive for the world to, you know, see, and whomever wants to experience it, that's what I'm putting out there. So definitely visit highpoweredlove.com. And then I've got another question. In relation to the 17-second rule, is it okay to think of a generic idea like a newborn baby, or do I need to have connection with my pure thought? That is a fantastic question. Thank you to whomever asked. It doesn't matter. If it makes you feel good, then that's all you need to do. It's the only thing that you don't want to do. You don't want to choose a thought that has something negative attached to it. So if I'm going to think about, you know, because some people are like, oh, well, I'll just think about this dream car. Well, in thinking about this dream car, you can start to think about the fact that you don't have the dream car, which creates resistance, and the positivity just goes way out the window. So if you think of, you know, so it's just don't think about the car that you really want. Don't think about the person that you really want. Don't think about something that you really want, or something that, if you think about it enough, has something that some other element to it, that if you go there, you know, relative to that other element, you could start feeling bad. That just like kind of throws out the whole point of what you're doing. A newborn baby is beautiful. It could be a pet, you know, it could be not a pet that's dead. It could be a pet, you know, because then, like, if you start thinking about the pet and how wonderful it is, then that could take you over into like, but he died. I felt terrible when he died, you know, so that can take you in a totally different direction. You don't want to go. Focus on something that is pure positive energy, and a newborn baby is pure positive energy. I mean, it's just nothing more precious than a new baby. So think about a new baby. Think about a pet. Think about an art project, a piece of art that you admire, that's beautiful, that makes you feel a certain way. Think think about things that there's nothing negative that you can get from this. It just feels good. So I'm so glad to whomever asked this question, because that is like the number one most important thing of the 17-second rule, is to pick something that has pure positive thought, and a newborn baby is certainly that. So generic is great. I love generic because there's nothing negative attached to generic. So as long as you can feel good, that's all that matters.